Alright, hello everyone, this is Crota giving you Game 2 in a series between XioKai versus Una. Game 2 taking place here on Last Refuge. We'll see what's going to go down in this matchup. And once again, I know a lot of you guys are maybe a little bit confused about the new YouTube layout. I apologize, it was mandatory for me to change. And short of me making a new video to show you guys how to watch my videos, which some of you guys may not be able to watch because you guys can't find the video on how to watch my new videos. I don't want to get too confusing. Just go ahead and check out the feed section and you guys should be able to see all the new videos there as I post them, similar to how they were originally set up. Now, we can see that Una is spawning as the Night Elf player over here on the bottom left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, XioKai is on the top right-hand side of the map as the blue Undead. Red versus blue here on Lost Refuge, and we'll see what the strategies will be once more. We can see that a crypt is going down, a tomb of relics going down as well, altar of darkness. So it looks like it's trying to be once again using ghouls, using ghouls as opposed to just trying to use crypt fiends. Game 1 definitely used crypt fiends. It didn't work out all too well. Perhaps using ghouls may be a little bit better. We'll see what the hero choice is. It looks like it will be a warden once more. So the warden trying to shut down the other side. A solo warden strategy has really come back in as of late. The warden is one of those heroes where once you get to level 6, the best way to deal with the Avatar of Vengeance, the best way to deal with the ultimate is by not fighting the ultimate and just constantly running away. It's just one of those things similar to the Demon Hunter's Metamorphosis or the Avatar from the Mountain King. You just got to be very careful as that hero is so much more powerful in its ulti form as they are just able to tank and deal so much damage. Now, Lost Love battling it in over here. You can see that the Warden going after some Troll Trappers. Ring of Protection +2 has been dropped. Meanwhile, taking a look at the Death Knight. The Death Knight picked up a Rod of Necromancy, did not sell his Scroll of Town Portal, important to note, and now making his way across the map with Unholy Aura as the first hero ability. This is really going to allow the Death Knight to perhaps get off some easy surrounds and perhaps be able to regenerate some more hit points. You can now see the Warden going after the Death Knight, the Warden getting off one easy Shadow Strike. As the Shadow Strike does slow down that Death Knight, a second Shadow Strike could come in, but the Death Knight does benefit from faster movement speed and a little bit of more regeneration because of that Unholy Aura. The Skeletal Minion is now trying to deal a little more damage as the Death Knight just wandering around here, gonna take a look and see what it finds so far. As the Death Knight now has to be very careful. The Warden could have gotten another Shadow Strike and that would have been slightly problematic, but the Warden's still sitting at level 1 while the Death Knight can wander around and then perhaps get to level 2 a little bit later. Halls of the Dead now being established. So yes, Halls of the Dead now being established. We'll see what will come of that and what tech path, what heroes. I believe we are going to most likely see XioKai go for the standard Undead tri-hero where the Undead player is able to get up that Lich and perhaps a third hero. Sometimes it is the Dark Ranger just to get off Silence. Silence shuts down other heroes so effectively as we now see a good 7 ghouls on the field. So with 7 ghouls on the field, all of these archers will have a problem. But does the Death Knight, yes, the Death Knight also has Dust of Appearance. We're going to see him go straight after these Null Assassins and this Null Overseer here. The lower hit point ghoul already being pulled back, trying to be saved. It looks like it is going to take a little bit more damage, but the Death Knight doing a great job keeping these units alive, minimizing how much damage they take. And now the Null Overseer will fall, but what is this Death Knight going to do? The Death Knight has double Rods of Necromancy. The Null Overseer will fall here, and now the Death Knight is still just shy as the Shadow Strike does hit him once more. He is unable to get off any death coils, but getting a little bit lucky there. Perhaps going to try to go after some archers as the ghouls are now making their way over. We have slow cast across multiple units, but an ensnare, now ensnaring a ghoul, and that is no good as the Death Knight still regenerating hit points. pretty effectively with that Unholy Aura, and we may have an engagement against Lost Love. There is another Shadow Strike coming in onto the Death Knight. The Death Knight dangerously low on hit points now. The Ghoul is perhaps going to try to do a surround here, but one Ghoul will get taken out. Dust of Appearance level 2 on the Death Knight, and another Golem throws another boulder and constantly stunning the Undead army. Undead XioKai just not getting lucky, losing a couple more units to the creep camp, as the Rock Golem has really dealt a lot of damage to Undead. Skeletal minions and the ghouls once again dancing around back and forth. It looks like this one archer may get taken out. There's a Dust of Appearance. There's a Death Coil. It gets taken out with a long distance Death Coil, as the Death Knight finally is going to be able to heal and keep up the rest of the units. We are at Halls of the Dead. We are going into the backpack upgrade. No second hero as of yet. Warden now making its way across. Warden getting into Tree of Eternity and really wants to level up as quickly as possible, but really nicely done by XioKai, not letting Una be able to just creep as much as he would like. That one Warden still sitting at level 2 against a Death Knight who's sitting at level 2, and because it is going to be a solo Warden, perhaps most likely up against a Warden, or sorry, a Death Knight and now a Naga Sea Witch, things are going to be a little bit more difficult, as now we should see some pressure. The Naga Sea Witch is an immediate return on investment hero, as we now see a very nice surround here. It looks like Una trying to escape. It looks like he's already down to 100 some odd hit points. There's the blink, able to get away. Not quite sure why he didn't use it earlier when he was originally caught in that surround, as now cold arrows now making their way over and gonna perhaps get some kills on some archers. Naga Sea Witch once again battling it out. More skeletal minions coming in. Naga Sea Witch trying to deal damage back towards this Warden, but the Warden is able to escape, and now that Warden able to back off again. Warden and Death Knight battling it out. One Ghoul will get taken out. I do not believe a Death Coil will be able to come inside and save it. Oh, nope. Is it going to save it? That Ghoul is low on hit points, down to 21, down to 20, down to 12. 2 more ticks. 1 more tick, and no, the Ghoul survives with 3 hit points. So very, very lucky Ghoul, even outside of the range of the Unholy Aura, helped save this Ghoul, and a low hit point Ghoul now heading back on Blight. Warden just shy of level 3, level 2 Shadow Strike, or Fan of Knives could be coming in. Most likely it would be Shadow Strike, better to compound those hero skills early on most of the times, as we now see a transition into Crypt Fiends. Black Citadel also being added. Black Citadel also being added. We are going into a Slaughterhouse. The Warden now finally getting up to level 3. Does have a Mantle of Intelligence. Not that much mana though, as we'll see whether or not this Warden can really do any more serious creeping. There is still plenty of places to creep here on Last Refuge, and it looks as though the Death Knight looking to just get some more experience, but also trying to do a very strong creep jack. That Warden sitting at level 3 hasn't really left her base in a little while. And by not leaving that base, the Death Knight has not been able to simply deny any experience, and perhaps he could have been using the time to get a little bit more experience as well. The Forest Trolls will go down. Perhaps these creep camps, the Goblin Merchant shops, will get taken out and cleared up, perhaps giving level 3 to the Death Knight and level 2 to the Naga Sea Witch if he does try to go for it. Meanwhile, the Warden sitting at level 3, almost halfway to level 4, will be halfway to level 4 after all these Forest Troll Priests. And now the Illusions also doing their job, tanking a lot of that damage. A low hit point Ghoul down to 7 hit points, able to survive once more. So these low hit point Ghouls are definitely helping, as he is not losing any of his collection or his lumber rate that he's trying to gather, and actually doing a good job of just creeping out the opponent's creep camps.
Our forces are under attack.
Death Knight, Naga Sea Witch once again battling it out here. I don't see any obsidian statues. Oh, nope, spoke too soon. One just happened to roll onto the screen now. We should be getting heal hit points and also regenerating mana. Both the Death Knight and the Naga Sea Witch are semi-low on mana. More the Naga Sea Witch than the Death Knight. as we are going to see this last Forest Troll Trapper fall and the Ogre Warrior fall as well. Naga Sea Witch about a quarter of the way completed with level 2. Meanwhile, the Death Knight about a third of the way completed with level 3. Warden sitting at level 4, still looking to creep out a little bit more. Nothing really to creep, as the Undead player XioKai has just been doing a good job of limiting the amount of places where creep can actually be killed. A new ghoul now returning back home once more after getting off a little bit more scouting information, and XioKai has been playing very, very well this game, keeping the Crypt Fiends, using the Naga Sea Witch, and perhaps we are even going to see a third hero. Yes, the Lich will be coming out, and most likely will be buying an Orb of Corruption.
The ancient evil survives.
Death Knight now running back down, dancing in between these two bases. We'll see where he's going to go next. Warden, or the Lich is now back out, or the Lich is finally out. Does have that Orb of Corruption and a level 1 skill to use. Doesn't want to use it just quite yet. Wants to see what the situation is. Obsidian statue now coming down, and here we go. Death Knight, Naga Sea Witch, Death Knight, and in comes the battle. Ghouls now going straight after some of these other units. It looks as though, yes, as with the Warden taking a lot of damage, and the Warden now attempting to run away, able to do so, but if it gets too close, the Death Knight may just be able to Death Coil once more. Warden does have a Rejuvenation, and the Death Knight does have a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability, perhaps going to steal some mana, and if he's able to steal the mana from the Warden is not going to be as big of a threat when level 6 does happen. The Warden still pushing back all of those Death Knights here. The Death Knight now simply trying to hide in the back, and with the sheer amount of Hippogriffs, there isn't really enough of a ground army in order to deal with all of the archers on the ground.
Our forces are under attack.
Bears now making their way off to the north. You can see one Ogre Mauler attempting to take out a couple of Death Knights. Not going to be able to do that at all. Meanwhile, we see the Warden finally. Oh, the Warden now returning. So, a very, very risky play coming in from Una. But Una now has made it work, as we now see an Ankh of Reincarnation. That needs to be picked up rather quickly, as a free resurrection on a hero is always nice. Especially, I do not believe that it gives experience when it dies the first time. Lich still sitting at level 2, hasn't spent any skills yet. May have to do it in a little bit of a clutch time, as the Warden now simply runs around on the inside. The Warden sitting at level 6 now, looking to finish off more units. All the Acolytes, I believe, were taken out. No new Acolytes being trained. And now a Staff of Teleportation quickly allows that Warden to retreat. Lich moving south, level 4, level 3 on the Naga Sea Witch. So 4-3-2 versus a level 5 right now, halfway to level 6. If the Warden can get to level 6, that would be extremely helpful for her, as that avatar is in fact really strong, especially when you consider that all of those little minions are completely immune to damage. So what you can see is perhaps the Warden is going to try to summon the avatar in the main base next to the graveyard, and then steal some of those skeletons, making them very, very useful.
Our forces are under attack.
Still more creeping going down. Abominations now finally being added. It looks like the harvester count is now, what is it? I don't know unless I actually click on him. I don't know. Alright, let's return to the game. Warden still wandering around. Looks like the Naga Sea Witch may get to level 3 in a little bit. If the Naga Sea Witch is around, yes, it is off over here. No, sorry, level 4 in just a little bit. Death Knight gonna get to level 5. Lich is very close to level 3 after clearing out this rather difficult to clear creep camp. But one Obsidian statue just keeping up this entire army and keeping it alive. In comes the Warden. The Warden, however, is getting slowed down, but not enough not enough to really stop it and stun it, as the Warden now appears to try to back away. Statues still being used. We're currently sitting at 48 over 50, and we'll see what Love tries to do next. 48 over 60. We also see that the Warden is looking to perhaps blink in and, yes, get some damage on those Acolytes once more, not allowing any serious mining to happen. And yes, there is currently no mining happening in the top right base. So with no mining underway, this is going to be a very sad day, as whatever XioKai has is whatever he's going to be getting unless he unsummons some buildings.
Our forces are under attack.
Heroes now making their way over. It looks as though the Rock Golem will fall, but not to the Destroyer, since it does attack with a base magic attack. And now that Warden is still just causing a lot of problems here. Still, we don't see any new teeth. No, yeah, no teeth. No new Acolytes being trained. So a little bit curious as to what's going on here. The Crypt Fiends now maybe making their way over. The Warden is dangerously low on hit points. The Warden now backing away, able to get a teleportation, snap a teleportation in order to get back somewhere. And it looks like, yeah, it got back to the front. Gonna drop the Robe of Magi and then repick it back up. Now over 400 mana. And looking to strike with the Vengeance once more. Both of these players are really taking their sweet time, just buying as much time as possible. In comes some Hippogriffs. Hippogriffs now going to be going after many of those Destroyers. The Death Knight quickly are there to receive them, and now hoping to perhaps deal a bit of damage, perhaps doing a little bit more creeping. The Gargantuan Sea Turtle, I do not believe is immune to magic, so the Destroyer should have a very easy time with it. It is normally a rather difficult unit to kick out, but with the -5 armor, and when you have bonus damage against that armor, it works out very, very well.
Summoning is complete.
Bears, Dryads, and birds. Oh my. We'll see what's going to happen here. Abominations are going to try to tank. There are 2 Destroyers and 1 Obsidian statue. We'll see whether or not this attack will be successful. Here we go. Here's the roar. Here's the engagement. Abominations are in the front. The Hippogriffs are trying to go after all of those Destroyers. There's a Fork Lightning taking down one. There's a Web taking on another. And this is not looking good for both parties. Both sides taking heavy, heavy losses. There is a Phantom Knives, but 2 Abominations do go down. And that is just going to give even more and more experience, as now we have the Avatar of Vengeance. The Avatar of Vengeance is not immune to magic, but its Spirits of Vengeances are immune to magic. So they are immune to all damage whatsoever. You can see that their armor type is invulnerable. And now you can see the Death Knight being forced to retreat, as he does not want to stick around inside that town.
The sleeper awakes.
Spirit of Vengeance is now making their way up. The good thing about the Spirits of Vengeances is that they are completely invulnerable, as I mentioned earlier. So you can just straight up raid with them and still deal a fair amount of damage. You can try to take down a couple of the opponent's heroes. Not the best option, but still enough damage in order to cause problems now, as the Destroyer is taking damage from those spirits.
Our forces are under attack.
Warden now coming over to engage. Dryads are all in position. The Dryads are gonna be able to finish off many of these destroyers, as the Hippogriffs also going to peck apart many of those units. But the Dryads really need to be careful. They are somewhat of a glass cannon. Because they are unarmored, they will be taking a lot more damage from the Crypt Fiends than the Crypt Fiends will be taking from the Dryads. But the positioning really matters now. You can see that the arrows are coming down over here. The Warden was revealed. I'm not quite sure who has the Gem of True Sight, but was able to reveal, as now the Warden trying to finish up Lost Love's base. So Una down to his final base, may lose his obsidian statues and may lose everything in this battle. Or is it? Nope, it is I Love Yous. Okay, so there you go. Here's the final score. Lost Love really outscoring his opponent in terms of the overall army size, not really caring and not being really too worried about going into low upkeep. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.